Italy's efforts to impose a hard line on illegal immigration don't appear to be working. Official figures released this week show the number of people arriving by boat in the first 8 months of the year has more than doubled to 113,000 compared to the same period in 2022. This sharp spike highlights the substantial challenges Prime Minister Georgia Meloni's administration faces. After she assumed office in autumn last year, her government attempted to enforce a naval blockade to put a stop to illegal landings. But 6 months later, this effort turned out to be infeasible. And the plans to build hotspots, migrant registration and identification centers in African countries have also dwindled. Policy analyst David Engels says there are several reasons for this supposed U-turn, including logistical ones.
Absolutely. I mean, on the one hand, of course, it is a logistic problem. These migrants come, and it is impossible for Italy alone or for Greece alone to control the entire Mediterranean. There are a lot of NGOs also underway trying to import as many migrants towards Europe as possible, especially German NGOs.
Italy's stance on migration also faces resistance from other European nations. French political leader Marine Le Pen has criticized both the European Union's and Italy's immigration policies. She's accusing Rome of making concessions to Brussels to obtain post-COVID recovery funds.
She has to manage her own situation. And what we often forget, she has learned from the example of Kaczynski and Orban. She has learned how dangerous it can be if she is qualified by the entire European political and mediatic sphere as being alt-right or extreme right or fascist or whatever.
In France, a poll published in June shows 65% of people are against more immigration. In Italy, this number stands at 77%. Despite her support from the public, the Italian Prime Minister failed to convince more of Italy's neighbors to join Austria into an alliance against illegal immigration. David Engels says powerful obstacles coming from media narratives and from EU or UN institutions make it almost impossible to change course.
And for the moment, there is indeed a certain tendency, as we see it in Italy, in Denmark, in Sweden, in Austria, in Poland and in Hungary and the Visegrad states, of course, also, to become much more skeptical about mass migration. But the big issue is, of course, that in France, as well as especially in Germany, the mass media, political establishment, the academia is fervently in favor of mass migration, multiculturalism, the idea of the melting pot as Europe is being some form of world state.
After the coup in Niger and recent reports of rising number of migrants arriving in Libya, experts says more people are expected to land on European shores in the coming months. David Vives, NTD News, Paris.